So I just pulled up to a coffee shop to get a blog post done, and my fingers are tired from gripping barbells all day. So I decided to make a video in my car, and people are gonna think I'm crazy talking to a iPad. But anyway, so yesterday I did a session with someone, and the session was about seeking approval and validation, and how that behavior, that thought process affects one's life. And I just wanted to say, it's very common. Most people that I talk to are seeking approval and validation, and they want to stop that. Now, if you don't, to a certain extent, seek approval and validation, then you're not human. But if it's to the point where it's ruining your quality of life, if it's causing you to make unhealthy decisions, but more importantly, if at the end of that you feel shitty about yourself, what you're doing is there's a leak in your self-esteem balloon. You know, you're leaking that, and that's one of the reasons your self-esteem, what you believe you're worth, your insecurities, is one of the reasons why you are seeking other people's approval and validation. It's because there's an uncertainty in yourself, right? So what we want to do is cover up that leak. And one way to just describe how all this works, in my opinion, or the way that I do it, is I tell people that if you feel that you are desiring, seeking someone's approval and validation to the point where you are sacrificing self, I think a lot of people do that just to get that heroin, that high of knowing that someone likes them, or that high of a friend feeling that you're smart, or whatever it is. Even though it feels like you're giving because you're being nice, or you're opening doors, or you're teaching someone something, or you're being an ear, you're actually taking, because what you're doing is it's contingent. It's contingent on you getting something back, right? So it's like the difference between someone that gives gifts and announces it, and makes it all flashy and whatever, or if someone puts the gifts, makes it anonymous, doesn't take credit for it, and gives them that gift, right? There's a huge difference. So when you're truly giving, so when you're taking, right, you are in that state of constant taking, seeking. You are powerless. You are leaking your self-esteem. And I talk a lot about potential. I'm always about trying to get people to their potential. It doesn't matter what they're going through. Their potential as a person, and hopefully getting traction in purpose and all that. So, and I always think that one of the saddest things in the world is wasted talent. So that's what you are losing, is your potential. Is you are maneuvering in a state, if you're taking, you're very watered down. You're lukewarm, and you're leaking your self-esteem. So that gets worse, and then you feel shitty about yourself, and then you internalize, and then you spiral down, and there's that pattern. So first you got to cover up that hole, and so the way you do that, you turn your dial from take to give, and you got to know when you're taking and when you're giving, and you got to be really honest with yourself. So giving, and it doesn't mean to give money or help people across the street. I mean, that's all great too, of course. But giving is when you know that you are being truthful to you, and you are expressing yourself, and you are sharing your gifts, whatever your gifts are. So it doesn't matter if you're an athlete, a teacher, a coach, an artist, that you are every day giving your true self. And that's hard to do because we live in a world where everything's based on billboards and advertising and the shoulds, and that's gonna fuck with your head, and you're gonna stutter when you feel that this is your truth, or you try to be funny, or you try to do your dance or whatever it is. And the more you do it, I think the more that you give in an honest way, you share your gifts, the more you get used to that. And the more you do that, the more you realize that people will realize that you're unique, and then you'll realize yourself that you have some value and that you're different. And then you building on that slowly patches that balloon and builds your self-worth. Now, there's a lot of ways into giving. It depends on your story and what your gifts are. So turn your dial from take to give, and know when you're giving, and try to lock it and keep it there. And the more you do that, the less approval and validation you'll seek, and you'll break those patterns, and you'll start to move forward in building worth, self-esteem, and ultimately living at your potential.